Yeah, what's up, guys? So Jamie's asked in the chat, what's happened to my rating? Because I did, break through like 1600 and whatever, and I've had a bit of a slip. I would love to know. I mean, this is really one of the big themes of this channel, is trying to decipher what makes the difference between strong performance and less strong performance. And quite honestly, I think one of the biggest factors is coffee. Simple as that. I was hooked on coffee. I was having 2 pots of coffee a day, ground my own beans. I couldn't wait to get up in the morning and get that coffee on. But the problem with coffee is, we'll start a game in our new rating climb, by the way, while we're waiting. The problem is that you do feel like you're running on cortisol, like stress hormone, all day. So here, by the way, I'm always meeting a pawn push with like the opposite knight if it's d4 or e4, and this is interesting. So this is like the Napoleon attack if I'd played e5. Okay, I don't know what my opponent's rating is either. He may be unrated as well. Yeah, so coffee's a huge thing. Tempo move. Surely hit the queen. So I think what he's done is he's played what he would normally play against 1 e5. But now I get to centralize my knight and kick the lady. Okay. Stepan from Hanging Pawns says his favorite thing in life is to play chess and drink coffee. Hit me, baby, one more time. Now I do have some black tea here with no milk. So I think what coffee does is it raises your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. It makes you edgy. It makes you jumpy. It suppresses a hormone that is there to make you feel tired, so that you know you're tired. And tiredness, by the way, is a signal from your body that you need rest, not that you have a caffeine deficiency. Okay, I'm going to hit her again. So Mick785 from Australia is getting his lady kicked all around the park. Now I could actually go back there. Go on, sod it, let's do it. Let's do it. Proper queen abuse now. What are you going to do? And now she can't go here. I'll go back there. Okay, shall we develop? Okay, let's have a think. So Stepan said that, I know, like John Bartholomew, loves his coffee. Harry Beltic stopped for an extra cup of coffee before the final of the Kentucky Open in 1960 whatever, and still lost to Beth Harmon because he was late. And because she was Beth Harmon. And she's fictional. And so is he. So it doesn't actually matter. You can forget about all that. But there's a lot of coffee drunk. If I come here, he can't even push the pawn. I'm going to develop this knight. He can't push the pawn because I capture the pawn with tempo again on the queen. And now look, I've got 1, 2 minor pieces developed. He's only got queenie. I could come out to b4 with my bishop. This knight is not threatening to make any forward progress at all. If it should come to this square, then I can kick it back. Because again, where's he going to go from there? So I'm unconcerned. I could play bishop e7. I could play bishop e4. I don't see any reason to push e4. Well, one reason is to prevent any ingress of this pawn. It does give up this square, but let's see if I push d5. And the knight comes in here. I could take it, but I could do this, then with the idea of that. Or let's just threaten the knight, because I know it can't go there. And if it goes here, it's getting its little horsey bum kicked again. Oh, so he's just decided to pin his knight. That's a thought. Now I need to guard for this cockiness, this cocky behaviour though, because I did it yesterday and then Botez gambited myself, didn't I? I'm wondering about this though. I feel like I should be taking some of the centre. but I also feel like I can take my time. Okay, so that was the idea. I was about to say that. I think he's doing that. So I'm going to push this pawn now. And theoretically, it gives the knight a hole, but then I take bishop, king has to move. And thank you, opponent, for obliging. Okay, do we take the knight? It's a good question. He threatens to take, queen takes, boom. Messed up pawns, not end of world, but I think I'd rather mess up my opponent's pawns. And this is simply freedom. All right, okay. Calm down, Hunty. Calm down. Don't be a dick. Right, okay. That was deliberate, that was deliberate. I thought the knight was defending. You know, I just assumed my knight was on here. Schoolboy error. Okay, now my rook defends the pawn. And wasn't I just talking about trying not to be cocky? Okay, he's got a light squared bishop. And there's always this question then, you know, what colour complex do you position your pawns on when your opponent only has a bishop of one colour? And it kind of depends on the where we are in the game to some extent. Okay, now, so my piece down. The piece is this, and opponent also has pawns on light squares, which is going to restrict this bishop quite significantly in the short term, but possibly not in the longer term. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and bust through the center a little bit. I don't really want to free up his pawns, but I've got to do something. Right, I'm not sure what he was thinking about with this move. I also have this, actually, because that hits the knight and the f2 pawn. And if the knight should move, there's also b2. Okay, so my opponent is playing in quite a loose fashion right now. But I've still got like 3 games to play before I actually get a rating, so the worse I play now... Oh, in fact, the queen defends b2, so scratch that idea. The worse I play now, the lower my my rating's going to be. That's not a bad move, but I have queen here. Which I believe forces the king back to here. Okay. Oh, actually, and sorry, the little things come up saying, this page is using significant energy. I know, well, look, it's your browser. Is that checkmate? No. Now, I can move either rook to e8. This is starting to look rather tasty, actually. Now, the key square is this one, isn't it? That's d3. I go here. He's going to go to d3. Okay, we have an opportunity for redemption here. Can I cover d3? Well, we just don't know. Let's say, for example, this, knight in, check on d3. Right, king is on here, right? He can't stay where he is, and he can't go to any of these squares. So what's going to happen? Okay, if it's a knight check. So let's say rook a e8, king d3, knight f4 check. Has to come here, I do believe. Okay, so I've got a knight on here, his king's on here. So my knight's there, the king's there, this rook's here. Okay. King is on this square. This rook could come up with check. The king can't go there or there or there. So they're all out. Okay. I'm thinking it's this. Oh, hello, Dolly. Well, isn't that interesting? Okay, completely changed. I did not expect this move. He's pinned his knight. This check doesn't... Oh, it does. Hello. Remember I said he pinned his knight? Checkity-doo-dah. Knight can't take it. It's in a pin. It's in an absolute pin. What you gonna do? Check. Okay. Now again, we do the same thing. Can't go there. Can't go any of these squares. Can't go there. I give check here. King goes here. That knight's actually in quite an annoying place, seeing as it's been anchored there by a pawn. I have a check with this. I can't give check here because king takes. I can't give check here because bishop takes. This doesn't work. This is a thought, but he's got bishop blocks, and that then allows his rooks into the game. So I'm going to play this move in the knowledge that the knight can't take. Now I have this, my f8 rook is still to some degree blocked up. Now it must be noted that the knight is no longer in a pin, so my queen is now on prise. But I can do the same thing here, and surely that can only help. Yes. Now what's undefended on here? Not much really. It's only that pawn. Okay. Now I still like this idea, would he? Pack it in. Because my pawn's guarding this square, so if that, then if queen here, the king he no go here or here, right? Or here or here. Therefore, I declare that the king is going to c2. And when the king goes to c2, I have rook f2, and then queen e1. Right, what can block this? The bishop. That don't work. Oh! In fact, I think bishop blocks is his only hope. He's got to go here. But then I've... Checkmate, yes. Come on. Okay. All right. Okay, I know. I screwed up, but we rescued it. Okay, good game. Right, let's squeeze in another one. Come on. Come on. For the benefit of the paying customer, Mr. Bendy Wendy is playing BLV, and I believe is that Tibet or Nepal? Nepal. The ready gambit. And now e3, pawn to e3. Doesn't look like much. We're attacking the pawn. What you going to do? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do this? Try and defend the pawn? Many people will. Most beginners probably will. No. So if he fails to defend the pawn, basically, I think you take the pawn. Then here we are. You know, this is the limit of my opening knowledge in the reti. Okay. I'd like to play this and target f7, but queen takes. And hanging pieces, boys and girls, isn't clever. I have to say that. Okay, I'm thinking develop knight because I'm slightly concerned about e4 with tempo. So why not develop a piece and de-encourage this move, because then we've got knight takes e4. And look, uno, dos, tres. Develop pieces, bing, bam, bomb. So what else affects performance? I mean, I'm a life hacker, right? This is what I do. This is literally my job. I teach people about diet and biohacks of all kinds of kinds. So sleep is massive. Sleep is absolutely massive. Nutrition, I've kind of got a handle on. With a high-fat diet, lots of omega-3s. I think also, actually, you know, like another one is if you go for the carbs and the sugar, then that kind of has, in the short term, an effect that's similar to the caffeine. I think it's true. You know, I have been known to stop for a large bar of chocolate on my way to an over-the-board game because I'm like, you know, high. I'm like alert. I'm like perky, right? If I turn up to an OTB game and I'm like this, you know, you don't want to be. You want to be like a startled rodent when you're playing chess. Truth hurts. How hilarious am I? You know, there's two people have put in my comments that they think that Grandmaster Ben Feingold is funny. There you go. There you go. What can I say? But then you probably find the French defence funny at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. Look, I mean, look, 10 out of 10 for effort, Benjamin, right? And as a fellow Benjamin, you know, he's like a brother. He's like an uncle to me. An uncle with a very poor sense of humour. Okay. Okay, opponent is doing a reasonable job here. Right, he's developed both knights, he's developed both bishops to the kind of Italian positions. This one is somewhat biting on granite. As I'm thinking, I was kind of tempted to push e4. And look at my dark squared bishop. Right? It ain't happy right now. Okay. But, yeah, don't worry about that because JJ, Gio, you know, pawns move. This is not an issue. I have b4. Bye. And I think that bishop b2 after b4 looks very good. And I know that's a kind of general idea here. And this can't be a bad thing because he can't get there, he can't get there, he can't get there, he can't stay there. So what's he going to do? Backwards he goes, right? And he ain't going back there. So I'd imagine he's going to go here. Oi, Gio. Gio, by the way, is Sheffield dialect for give over. Give over. Give over is very much a Yorkshire phrase, or Northern English phrase, but Gio is how we say it round our way. Okay, I'm looking at rook e1. I'm looking at bishop b2. Bishop b2's very natural. It's just a question of timing. I think either move is great. I think, what does my opponent want to do? He wants to castle and play on. This is playable after rook e1. So I think rook e1 first. I might do this. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I could stick it here, but then if knight takes... Ooh, go on then. Because look, I'm attacking this undefended bishop. I'm attacking this knight. If I take the knight, then that's messing up his pawns on the queen side, eh? But if he takes me, I take... Well, ho, ho, ho. What's going on here? Rule number 1. Don't panic. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Now, do I have any checks, for example? I have one here, which is a thought. I have a check here. King takes. I could give check with the knight, but I mean, bishop just snatches the knight and like I'm down 2 pieces. What's the point in that? Is f3 playable? Let's say pawn takes f3. Let's say knight takes f3. That ain't bad, actually. Or I can move the queen. Move the queen with double eyes on this. That's going to force him to castle. Is it not? Or I could take the knight and say, go on then, I dare you. Are you feeling lucky, right? You take my queen, I take your queen. So let's have a think. I get a knight, you get a queen, I get a queen. You take my knight, I take your bishop. I do believe I'm up a minor piece at the end of all that. Yeah? I get a knight, you take back, screw up your pawns, I do this. Okay, what can go wrong with this idea? I take the knight, I'm attacking your queen. I mean, what's his options? He either trades queens, I don't see it. Yesterday we had a really good session in Chess Bootcamp Live, and if you want to improve, guys, do consider joining us. Okay, and there we go. There we have it, right? So what happened is James went through a load of, I think, blitz games that Magnus Carlsen recently played. Most of them against the same kind of other title player. It might have been a candidate master, I don't know. And Magnus won like all but one of the like 18 out of 19 or something. But what James has done is he's gone through all these games and pulled up interesting positions. And then we all had to kind of say, well, what would we play in this position? Then we saw what Magnus did. Really interesting how a grandmaster, but he's not. You can't just call Magnus a grandmaster, can you? Really? How differently they see the game, and the, like, you know, giving up material in return for a more active position was a really key theme that we saw a few times in Magnus's play. So that really feels like just that one thing. This is a mistake. Okay, so he's attacking this knight, which is defended, but he's failed to defend f7. So I take f7. Now the king must move. The king can't capture the bishop because he'd be in check. So there's only 1, 2, 3. That would be highly illegal for a king to make a knight jump. Okay, that's a shame actually, because my opponent was playing really quite solidly for a while there. Okay, and now again we take stock. We were not winning by any stretch. First thing you have to say is my bishop in danger of getting trapped behind enemy lines? I don't believe so. I think the only real way to trap it would be one of these, both minor pieces, and I can just eliminate those pieces if I wish. Okay. And now, again, what I'm going to do, before I do anything else, I'm just going to look at my opponent's position. I'm going to Goldfish. Okay. What is the Goldfish method? If you don't know, I've got videos on this on my channel. Okay. And the Goldfish method basically involves, this is the basic thing, right? You draw a line, you draw an arrow by right-clicking and dragging to show the defensive structure. What defends what? So this rook defends this pawn, right? The king defends this pawn defends this knight, okay? The knight defends that pawn, the knight defends this bishop, and then I've highlighted in red, and this bishop defends this knight, okay? But this bishop ain't defended. Now you could then go on and say what's attacking what as well, you know, whatever. And you can do it on both sides, but it'll get very, very messy at that point. But the key thing is that's not defended and neither is that. So there's nothing that really jumps out at me yet about this. I mean, this is under attack and defended, for example. Now we could try maybe pressing up. I'm kind of like the move d4 right now, but if they capture en passant, I don't even have a way to recapture. Their captures, I'm giving up a pawn. But let's think Magnus a little bit here. I don't know. Maybe I should just retreat and just kind of, can I afford to sit back now? Rest on my laurels a little bit? Or is it time to strike? Instinct says it's actually time to strike. This is a very bad idea. I don't like pushing the pawn in front of my king without very good reason, because what's he going to do? Bishop just steps back and says, now what? Right, now you've just created a target, a hook. Right, so I don't think it's that. Can't come here, can't come here. Could step up with my queen and target this. That also puts two attackers on there. But if I do either of those, that bishop's going to fall. So that's not great either. So also this move, though, facing off the bishops, which I'm kind of drawn to. I think that's the way to go. And if you look at my opponent's position, it isn't cohesive, coherent, whichever you prefer. Right, so I'm now threatening to take here. And I think now I should just trade down. I'm up a pawn. His knight's going to recapture. I could kick the knight out, and maybe I should, because actually now there's going to be quite a lot of pressure on h2. Or is it just a case of g3? I think g3 might be the way to go. g3, now that there's no black light squared bishop on the board, if you want to get in here, you're going to have to sacrifice material. And this king can't castle. That's going to slow down the progress of these rooks into the game. Okay, let us Goldfish. Why is it called the Goldfish method? Actually, both rooks are undefended as well, which is a thing. It's called the Goldfish method because you have to pretend that you have the memory of the alleged memory of the goldfish. It's not true. They've got a memory of 7 seconds. It's not true at all, I don't think. But you make out like you've got no memory at all, and you're viewing every position that you get on the board as though it's a puzzle. Which is why puzzles are good. You know, puzzles can teach you to look in a fresher way at what's on the board. So do you remember I just noticed that this was undefended? But then we also have a problem here. However, knight takes that defends f2, attacks the queen. Yeah? Can there be a problem with this? I don't think so. I'm hitting the queen, queen's got to move, and she ain't going there. Okay? Now, I am moving my knight from a protected square, where it's protected twice, it's also under attack. So actually, sod it. I'm just going for it. And then I might even do a move like this or this, I don't know. But we will see. We will see. Let's say, for example, the queen wants to attack my knight. This could be an issue. Then maybe I'll just defend my knight. Queen c4. Queen defends the knight, so it's not longer undefended. Knight still protects f2. Yeah? Bendy, why is everyone licking all the time? Why do you have to lick? I know there's nothing else to do when you're a dog. We'll go for a walk in a bit. There we go. This is what we expected. Okay, so I'm inclined to go here or here. I'm thinking this one. The reason is then I do have an option of a check, or I do have an option to take one of these pawns, maybe not that one, but I'm thinking this. Queen still can't take there and she can't take the knight. And I'm also got ideas now about f4. Just drive a wedge into my opponent's attacking ideas. I could hang a rook. That is a thought. I could hang a rook. How long's that been going off? Oh, yeah, I just missed it. Look, I missed that this actually created a discovery on the old rook. Bugger. Okay, I have a check, but then he trades queens. So I'm now down in material. This still defends the knight, by the way. This traps the bishop behind enemy lines to a degree. But it also undefends my own knight. That would be a big mistake. Actually, he's also... What am I talking about? He's got 2 attackers on here. So he didn't have to do that at all. Oh, no, I also have 2 defenders. What am I talking about? See, this is literally just baseline brain power we're talking about here. I'm inclined to do this. But I also kind of like this. So, can I play d4? No, because it hangs the knight. Now my opponent is playing more sharply than I am, for sure. Yes, he's got hanging pawn. Yes, he's uncastled and can't castle. Interesting, so he's attacking my knight. But I'm safe here right now because my king and my rook defend. Knight here, I think, is the only safe square. Unless I want to defend with this pawn. Or I can just take that for now. I think take this pawn. So look, I've blundered in both games already so far. And I know that if I went to the shop and got some bags of coffee beans and ground coffee, I'd be like, sharp. Oh, he's trying it again. Well, I have h5, h4. Okay, I also have a, I don't know, check there doesn't work because queen takes. I think I have to play that. It's defended, attacked. See, the Goldfish let me down there. What I didn't do is I didn't Goldfish my own side of the board, right? Say what's defended, undefended, and under attack. And also notice, remember what we said about this bad bishop before that pawn b4 was played? This bishop was stuck on the back rank, and what it was doing there, it was blocking the rooks from seeing each other. So I was tardy in my development for sure. And you should not do this. At every stage in the game, you can still develop your pieces. Now, to be fair, my opponent is also behind the line as well in terms of development. So right now, ooh, well, isn't that interesting? But I can just take that pawn. Also, I now have queen c5 check. Which can be blocked with a rook. I think just taking the pawn, because then no, I'm not threatening that, am I? I just take the pawn. Check here. Even if he plays king there, I don't have the royal fork because knight guard, so I think we're just going to do this. And again, still my bishop is in trouble. I might get in the move d4 just to take this bishop out of the game. Just to take. There we go. Okay, right. He's interesting. Interesting. Okay, now we give check. Notice the queen is undefended as well. So if the king should come to this square, by the way, I have that, which is checked by the knight. King has to move. No, we might just end up trading queens in that situation. But again, I'm just trying to complicate things if I can. Might be able to bring my bishop into proceedings. Might get this check in. And that is, surely that is a blunder, because now I have knight e6 check, and I win the queen outright. Skin of my effing teeth, these two games. Mr. Bendy Wendy is not a player to aspire to emulate, eh? Ouch. Ouch. It's got to hurt. BLV7, mate, I apologise. He waited for me to get cocky. Cocky I got. Now my bishop comes into play, finally. And attackerizes the rook. Let's attackerize the rook. He might do this. I've got check here. Don't move too quickly, you muppet. This rook can't block because of bishop. Finally, Mr. Bishop comes to the rescue. Here, king can't go there, and can't go there, can't stay there, can't go there. He can't go there because it loses the rook. Oops. In fact, isn't he going to lose the rook whatever happens? He goes here or here. Queen takes rook. But it's, you know, it's also good practice too, in not rage quitting and resigning and playing on. Take advantage of the fact that it's notoriously difficult to win a one position. No, I mean, look, I was down like a rook for a couple of pawns. It wasn't the end of the world. But human beings get cocky. And it is hard. He can resign here. He can actually resign now. Look at my pawns as well. Excellent pawns. And he's only got these two. So the difference is, I'm up a queen for a rook, but I have 4, I believe, 5 extra pawns. Queen for a rook is 4. So it's a queen and 4 pawns for a rook, which is 9. Ouch. So Apple is giving me a warning that the Safari browser is very memory inefficient and doesn't work very well. Okay, well that comes with check, and bishop can't block again. It's my strategically placed bishop, and also this. So I think the only move is going to be king d7. Okay. I think just put the rook on the open file. Because I do actually have rook takes e7 check. If he takes, he loses this rook, so I actually win a pawn. Another thing that we noticed in the Magnus games is that when you actually unpicked those really, really good moves, and by the way, all of these sessions are recorded. You've got years of sessions. Hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours. When you unpick these moves that Magnus played, we realised that the reasoning came down to pretty straightforward basics in many ways. Like the reasoning wasn't too complicated. So I'm going to win this pawn now. So what does that teach us about chess? It's like you don't have to be calculating 8 moves deep to do something great. King e8 is forced, isn't it? Okay, what's the win? I think I'm going to do this and just force material off. Right? No need to be clever and reinvent the wheel. Yeah, so thanks James for that session, that was really good. Also I'm attacking an undefended pawn, I realise. But this pawn is not instrumental. This pawn, whether it was on the board or off, would make no difference to the outcome of the game. It would make no difference to whether black... Mate, it would make no difference to whether black can win. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go with plan A. Keep it simple, stupid. Bishop can't even take, because it's in an absolute pin. Queen's looking at the king. So now I'm actually threatening this, which means he's pretty much got to do that. Which means I can do this, rook takes, attacks the queen, come back here with check, gonna threaten this with a rook. I could almost pre-move this. But you've always got to be careful. You know, when there's only seconds on the clock and your opponent thinks you're pre-moving, he could try something cheeky like that. And you pre-move that and he says, thank you very much, I'll take your queen. And suddenly he's back in the game. Okay, he resigns. Interesting. Whew, have we learned anything? I don't know. I don't know. But, I mean, look, one thing I would say, Jamie and everyone else, I don't want to... Look, my health is more important than chess. And there's a lot of alkaloids and polyphenols and whatever in coffee that my body doesn't need. It is also associated with slightly longer life in some cases. But I honestly, although I have an addictive personality and I'm kind of hooked on the artificial buzz, you do pay for it later. You're borrowing energy from later on in the day. There's no question about it. It's because it suppresses your natural tiredness. Tiredness is not a caffeine deficiency. Tiredness is a signal. It's an important signal. If you're tired, get more rest. That's what I'm working on, getting better sleep now, better rest. I'm sleeping in a different bedroom right now, which is darker as well and dog-free. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you for following this bizarre journey in a combination between biohacking and chess. Where else do you get that? Quite honestly, So there you go. A couple of interesting games, a couple of interesting blunders, a couple of interesting recoveries. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.